Well, for more on those Esorfranki results now, Bernie Krone, who's the CEO of Esorfranki, and Sasha Narishkin, who's director at Vestac, join us now. Thank you both for joining us this afternoon. And Bernie, let's perhaps start off with you, because the numbers certainly make it look like you're in a comfortable enough place within the construction industry right now. Just how close to the truth is that?
No, I think we are doing pretty well. We've had 3 periods now of sustained profits, so we think we've sort of turned it around. We're looking more forward to this year than we have the past couple of years. So yeah, we're happy with these results. I think construction has been a swear word for quite some time now, and we think things are getting better, and we're happy with our results.
Let's start with South Africa if we can, Bernie. I like the way across the whole group that you're diversifying. In South Africa, you seem to be diversifying in the sort of targets, the target projects that you're looking at. But also in Africa, you're adding a couple of countries. I mean, you're in Angola, Ghana, Mauritius, Mozambique, Tanzania, Zimbabwe, now Uganda. The South African story is familiar across the whole of the construction sector, though margins being squeezed because of competition. And that's, I suppose, why you're looking at other things like renewable energy.
Yeah, I think we're trying to get away, Lindsay, from going to these site inspections where there's 30 and 40 people tendering for the same work, and you know that if you're lowest, you've probably made a mistake somewhere. So we're looking at the development side of things, in fact, sort of buying future work by getting involved in development type projects, doing the infrastructure and the building in certain cases.
Mm-hmm. Sasha, let's bring you into the conversation here, because you were chuckling at that comment. I mean, what's your sense of the numbers that were put forward today and Esorfranki's position within that construction sector?
Yeah, it's interesting because, the cycles tend to be very deep on the troughs and the crests. When everyone's riding high, the margins are obviously much better and everyone's getting excited, equally ditto the investors. But at the bottom of the cycle, strangely, nobody wants to get involved. And, you can see a 20% spike in the share price, even though it's only at R1.50, signals that people are probably starting to wake up. I mean, the question I want to ask Bernie specifically is on the sentiment reading on 1 to 10, where do you think we are now? And I'm including all parties, government, private business. Where are we?
I think if you look at our segments, you'll see that we've gone a bit away from government work and we're more in the private sector at the moment, so it's very difficult to say. In the past, we've always been a good barometer from our geotechnical business, but that business has, we are a dominant player in that particular industry on the geotechnical side, and so we can only do what we can do, and the market needs to be there. And I'm not so sure that things generally have turned around, although I think the sort of knee-jerk reaction to is there going to be enough work around and really killing the prices, I think that's stopped. So I think there's more realism in the markets and the figures that tenders are being won at. But I would say it's on the sort of barometer, it's better rather than worse. Okay, so.
Bernie, on the dividend front, you haven't declared a dividend. Is that because of your natural caution, because of the cyclical nature of the construction business and also the tough times that you've been through in recent years?
Yeah, and Lindsay, I think also with the growth that we've experienced, growth comes at a price. So we have spent some money. Cash flows are tight. I think that will be a big focus going forward, is to get back into dividend flow. I'm the biggest individual shareholder still myself, so I'm also keen on dividends. But yeah, but at this point in time, it is preserving cash, using the cash wisely, and using that cash to actually secure our future. So, some of our contracts have, they've got some 5-year visibility in some of the development contracts.
Take us through that strategy, because you're investing in key property developments in order to secure that project pipeline. So take us through that.
Yeah, well, let's take the one, for instance, Orchards. We paid some money up front for that. There's a pref share that will mature in a few years' time. And basically, it's 1,400 units. We are developing the land in small pockets so that we proclaim small townships at a time, and we're selling it on to top structure developers, at 150 units, 200 units at a time, to various top structure developers. It is in an established market. It's up near Roslyn in Pretoria, borders on a railway line there. We have secure power. So really, we're really only doing the infrastructure work and then selling it on. Some of our other models revolve around us doing the building of the houses as well. And then also our particular contract down in Katu or near Sishen, we are working for a developer down there where we have done the infrastructure and built the actual houses as well.
So that pertaining to your operations in South Africa, let's look cross-border because there's been a strong cross-border focus for the company. How exactly are you leveraging off this? And when it comes to doing business in Africa, are you dealing with private sector more so than public?
Yeah, I think it's only the geotechnical side that works cross-border at the moment. I think we've got one small contract in Swaziland on the pipelines. And I think 84% of our work is non-government in the geotechnical sector. So we work as subcontractors for primary contractors. Every now and then there is something direct for government or one of the big parastatals, but generally we work as subcontractors. We're not new boys to Africa. We've been in various countries over the last 20 years or so. So we've paid our university fees. We know how things work there, how difficult it is. So it's not as if we've been forced to go into Africa because things have been a little bit suppressed here. We've got a lot of knowledge of Africa. Mm-hmm. So the new place for us is Ghana, and we see Ghana as being a sustainable market. We have got offices up there now, and also on the East Coast, Tanzania, Uganda, Kenya. We see things that are going to happen there as well.
And you've also got Uganda, a new contract in Uganda, and you see Uganda and Ghana as having great infrastructure prospects in the future. And you say you're only there with geotechnical, and I notice geotechnical's revenue only up 7.3%, but civils, I think, up 48.4%. Do you think those two numbers will converge as your Africa expansion gains momentum?
Yeah, look, you need the market to be there. It tends to be swings and roundabouts. Mauritius has always been a nice little market for us, and it's been flat this year. Angola's been a little bit flatter. Ghana's been better. Mozambique has not quite kicked off the way everybody was anticipating it to. It's difficult to say whether civils is going to go into Africa. I think our first step definitely for civils and pipelines would just be one border at a time. So probably Mozambique or Zimbabwe or Zambia and Botswana. That would be our first point of entry for our civils or pipelines division.
Bernie, last question. I think, in terms of the African expansion story, what sort of revenue split between kind of local here, South Africa, and the rest of your businesses would you be happy with?
Well, bearing in mind at the moment, I think it's 18%. Is our cross-border percentage, but that's probably reduced a little bit, but that equates to almost half our geotechnical business. Because we've had a bit of a ramp up on our civil side of things, the actual overall percentage has come down, but we would probably look at 25 to 30% as being a comfortable level. If we can get to there, I think